Thank you for having me, Emily, and Hopeful Mama Foundation. I'm going to be talking about acupuncture for fertility and wellness. A little bit about myself. I am a chiropractor. I went to Palmer and graduated in June of 2011. I initially went to practice here in Cedar Rapids with the goal of taking over for another chiropractor and really just working in pain management. That's kind of what I always assumed. And I had gotten an email from the Iowa Chiropractic Society, and it said we were offering acupuncture training in Des Moines. And I thought, well, that sounds interesting. I didn't really know anything about acupuncture, so I thought I would go. And it was amazing. It's been life-changing for me. So it was over 2 years' time. I went out there and I received my diplomate in acupuncture. So that really got things going for me to have a different type of practice than I had originally planned. I had taken over the other practice, which was the original goal, in 2016, and then combined it and started doing acupuncture really in practice more so after I took over. I really had never planned on doing fertility work at all, but all my friends were like, I always hear acupuncture and fertility work. So do it on me. And so I thought, okay, I better learn this. So I started taking extra seminars. I started doing more supplement training, more homeopathy, things like that were really interested me along with the acupuncture side of things, and just really incorporated that into my practice. During all of that time, I was also trying to get pregnant, and I tried for almost 5 years, unable to conceive. So I didn't really know what I was doing on the acupuncture side of things, but I knew enough to kind of dabble, I like to say. And so I went mostly on the medical side of my journey, but did acupuncture along the way. Ended up having my twins, who are now 9, boy and a girl. And then my son Ronan was a surprise 4 years later. And I like to attribute him to really just my better health, learning more about the natural side of things, because my fertility issues were always just unexplained. And I've also incorporated that into my practice now. I love to talk to my patients about that because I think that really gives us a connection, and that I know what it's like every month to get a negative pregnancy test. I know what it's like to, go to baby showers or whatever, and, be sad about that. And so I can really connect with them. And I hope that that helps too with my care, that I have that empathy. Let's see, it really started to take off in my practice then. And I have recently, the past couple of years, just almost, that's my main focus in practice. And one of the things that I like to do when I'd see my first patient first time is kind of explain how acupuncture works. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight. So going on to the history of acupuncture, they found bones actually that they think were used as needles almost 6,000 BC. So it's been around for a very long time. Honestly, probably longer than we even understand. They've even found some, I don't want to say like a corpse, basically, with tattoos that they can still tell on the corpse that had the meridian lines. So incredibly interesting. And that's, again, thousands and thousands of years ago. So what it is, in a very easy explanation, is chi energy that moves right underneath the skin. And it is going along meridians. So we have different meridians in our body, and each one corresponds to a different organ system. So some of the most common ones that I use a lot, or that are heard mostly, is like the liver meridian, the spleen meridian, the conception meridian. And they'll go like this along the line throughout the body, go up and down our legs. And when I put a needle in right underneath the skin, it opens up the meridian, increases the chi energy throughout the body. And also, when we're doing all of that with the organ systems, I can combine different protocols. There's so many different techniques in acupuncture. There is Korean acupuncture, Japanese acupuncture. So it's really honestly like this huge well of information that I feel like I just kind of scraped the surface of, but it is incredibly interesting. I always tell people there's probably a point for everything when someone comes to me and they have something. So, and I combine it in my own practice where I kind of take the East side of things with Western medicine. And I do that with supplementation, with homeopathy, um, and with the combination, along with even Western medicine for fertility treatments, it has been amazing. We have had great results. And I think that the combination of the more natural side of things, along with medical side of things, is honestly wonderful. For fertility, I go on the most common meridians that I work on with the fertility is the spleen, the kidney, and the conception vessels. So how those go is through the middle of the body and then on the inside of the legs. And it's really like probably 15 to 20 needles each visit. And it's really painless. I mean, most women tell me that they barely feel anything when the needles are in, or they can't even tell when I put a needle in. They're like nervous about getting ready to start. And then I'll start to put one in. They're like, oh my gosh, is it in? It's it. So very, very easy and painless. Let's see here. As far as the wellness side of things, so with that, I will see a lot of women who are perimenopausal, postmenopausal, just want to regulate their cycles. And those are very similar techniques in acupuncture I would use for them as well. But we also get really good results there. Sometimes I will even add in supplements for them too. Okay, so a first visit with me, what that would look like when you come to the office. Like I said, I kind of give you a little idea of how acupuncture works. A lot of people come to me, they've never had acupuncture before. And so first thing is we will make a really good history, find out exactly where you are, what treatments you have done, maybe what treatments you're planning on doing. I see people a whole array. So really it doesn't matter. Acupuncture is great anytime. Usually I'm just kind of going to give my basic plan is what I do is we have visits weekly or bi-weekly. And we usually do like a supplement plan. And so that could be one of many different things, but I try to base it on what symptoms you're telling me. I usually do not order blood work. I did for a while, and then I found that insurance doesn't pay for it. It can be really expensive. And I really want to make everyone's time, money, value the best possible. So if you do need blood work, I say to a lot of people, go ask your PCP, or I can refer you to somebody in town. And it seems to be work better that way. But usually my supplement plan does not change with what we have for that. Some of the common issues that I see frequently, PCOS, unexplained fertility. I honestly see so much unexplained fertility. It's crazy. Low progesterone, high estrogen, irregular cycles, low ovarian reserves, thyroid issues, people who are just going through IVF. I'll have totally natural cycles, and women who have really constant miscarriages, chronic miscarriages. And some of the statistics. So I've been keeping stats on my cases since 2021. I did dabble in acupuncture fertility before that, but I don't feel like I knew as much then. So I hate to take those stats into now. But for patients that stayed with us for 8 visits over 3 months and have been in since 2021, we have a 75% positive pregnancy test rate. So really exciting. All right, I have a couple really interesting cases that I wanted to share too. So I had a 33-year-old woman. She was diagnosed with low ovarian reserves and she had no prior pregnancies. The U of I had agreed to do 1 round of IVF. So we did acupuncture twice weekly for 1 month leading up to her retrieval, and we did no supplements. That was her choice. And like I said, I see people either way, it doesn't really matter. She had retrieved both eggs and both were fertilized. And she was pregnant with one of those embryos, and then she froze one embryo. And they told her, I think their exact words were, wow, you really beat the odds. And I was like, did you tell him you were getting acupuncture? And she's like, yes, I did. I told him the whole time. So that was, excuse me, that was really exciting. Case two, a 41-year-old woman really had no explanation for their infertility, but she had a 3-year-old son. They had tried for quite a while to have him. And after she had him, she had started trying again when he was about 9 months old. We did acupuncture weekly with supplements. And after the first 2 months, she was pregnant. So that was one where sometimes I say I can't really tell for certain if coming in once a week versus twice a week makes a difference in the positive pregnancy test. But I do try to work around people's schedules and my schedule, which I know is hard, to come into an office for twice a week for almost 45 minutes. And my hours are 9 to 5. So you're basically leaving work. So I say, let's try it once a week. And a lot of times they still get pregnant with just once a week. So, and it saves everybody time and money. All right, so these are some of my favorite acupuncture points, and I'll just kind of list them. And this would be a great workshop if you want to learn more about acupuncture. That will be, or acupressure, excuse me, that will be in our flyer that we hand out. So spleen 6, this is one I always use for fertility. And this is on the posterior border of the tibia bone. So it's going to be 4 finger widths under that bone, or above the medial malleolus or the ankle bone. And on the picture, you can kind of see it better. And what it does, it helps with fertility, menstrual cramps, labor pain, or induces labor. The heart point, heart 8, that is on the palm. And a great way to find that is to make like a really light fist. And then where your pinky hits, that's going to be heart 8. And this is great for headaches. I use this on every single patient that comes to my office with a headache. So my kids, they have a headache, I have them put their finger here. And you can massage it, you can press it, you can tap it. Those are all great ways to acupressure it. I say try to at least put pressure on it for 1 minute to 2 minutes. And then after that, you can just continue throughout the day. Large intestine 4. This is on the back of the hand, and that's between the thumb and the index finger, kind of in, I like to say, that meaty portion right there. And this will help with just general pain anywhere in your body, but it also help induce labor. Pericardium 6 is another favorite one. This always drives me crazy when I see people with the C-bands on, because they always wear them way too high for nausea. So if I ever see someone with a C-band on, like on a plane or something, I'm like, pull it down. So it really needs to be about 3 finger widths under that wrist. And then right there between those 2 ligaments, you'll feel. And that's where you're going to want to press. And that's going to be your nausea point. And this one works wonderfully. If you get the C-band on the right spot, it works. Kidney 1, I'm not going to pull my foot out and show you, but kidney 1 is on the sole of the foot, just underneath the ball of the foot. And a really interesting story about this, when I was learning acupuncture, I read a book about a surgeon who went to China, and he was also interested in acupuncture back in the 60s. And he was on a bus, and he saw this guy carrying a woman on the bus, and she was crying and hysterical. And he helps them because he's a surgeon. So he like goes with them to the hospital where they were going, or a doctor's office. And he walks in with them, and he finds out basically that this woman said she was paralyzed and she couldn't walk. And so he goes in and he sees what the doctor does. The doctor takes out a needle and he puts it on the bottom of her foot. And she lays there for probably 30 minutes, I'm guessing. And he takes the needle out. She gets up and she walks out of the place. And so he goes to the doctor. He's like, what did you just do? And he's like, she was panicked. She was having a panic attack. And so this is the calming point for really, I mean, panic, but honestly, your kids are trying to fall asleep at night, tap them on the bottom of the foot on this spot. Super calming. It's a wonderful point. It can be painful in acupuncture, so I don't use it a ton acupuncture-wise because it's such a painful spot, but for calming, for acupressure, it's great. Kidney 3, which is on the inside of the ankle. This is also great for neck pain, ringing in the ears, and this is also an infertility point I do for every visit. And then one of the great points in acupuncture for fertility also is called Palace of the Child. It's literally like a triangle right over underneath our belly button. And it's these 2 points right over our ovaries is where it is. And this is going to help with infertility. And right there, and it's also going to help with period cramps. But yep, right there, again, light pressure. And like when I put a needle in, I didn't say this earlier, but I really only put the needle in maybe, they say it's about like a half a width of a nail bed. So really just like right there. So it's going just right underneath the skin. So it's not going deep at all. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of the workshop points. All right. Thank you so much.